For life to work, we have to trust others. Trust is critical for any functional relationship with our family, with our friends, and even our work-based relationships. The issue of trust and mistrust is a powerfully relevant issue in our culture today, whether it relates to the level of trust in our government or the mainstream media. We hear comments about trust all over the news and frequently in personal conversations, like, "I trust that guy about as far as I can throw him." But trust in work-based relationships is critical for many reasons. Trust is needed for effective teamwork, collaboration with suppliers, smooth functioning within an organization, healthy customer relationships, and ultimately to obtain optimal outcomes. Mistrust in work relationships can create serious problems and may occur for several reasons. But certain themes do recur across work settings. Situations where one person doesn't trust another may be the result of one person not telling the truth or withholding information, not accomplishing tasks on time, delivering unacceptable quality work, sharing confidential information inappropriately, consistently showing up for meetings late and unprepared, or undercutting, gossiping, and spreading rumors about others. But besides these behaviors, a more foundational and important issue exists. The way we think about and talk about trust often is inaccurate and creates major problems for us. Think about it. What do you often hear? Comments like, "You can't trust the government," or "You can trust Susan, she's a good person." We tend to talk about trust in extreme all or nothing terms. Either you can trust someone or you shouldn't trust someone for anything. But the reality is, the issue of trust is not as clear-cut as we tend to talk about it. Making a judgment about whether someone is either totally trustworthy or cannot be trusted at all is rarely reality-based. In actuality, almost everyone can be appropriately trusted for some tasks. Although we often talk about trust in extreme either-or terms, it would be more accurate to communicate the level of trust you have on a continuum. Use phrases like, "I'm having a hard time trusting Jason." Generally, Susan is quite trustworthy. Or, "I'm not sure I'm ready to trust Stacy to manage the whole project." Additionally, if we tend to communicate in global terms and you say, "I trust Susan," does that mean you trust Susan to handle all situations? Clearly not. I don't think you'd be saying you trust Susan to manage your personal finances and raise your children. This is because trust is actually situation specific. That is, there are some situations where it's reasonable to trust others, like being able to drive you to the airport, assuming they can drive, but you shouldn't trust the same person to do open heart surgery on you, unless of course they have the training and ability to do so. Rather, we need to express our trust relative to a specific situation. In this case, you may trust Susan to oversee the marketing project. Or conversely, instead of making a blanket statement that, "I don't trust Jason," it would be better to specify the situation. "I'm not sure I'm comfortable in trusting Jason to run the whole project by himself. I think he's going to need some help." Saying what we trust the person to do is helpful and more accurate. It's important to understand that trust is situation specific because it gives us a pathway to build or rebuild low levels of trust and a way for a relationship to move beyond the "they are trustworthy" or untrustworthy impasse. Otherwise, we're stuck with an all or nothing character judgment about a person with no effective way to discuss or resolve the concern. While there are some important additional components of trust which I discuss in a companion video, beginning to communicate more accurately about the level of trust we have versus in all or nothing terms, and to identify the specific situation or skills involved will aid us in being able to take steps to build our trust in others, as well as increase others' trust in us. I invite you to view the video, How to Rebuild Trust at Work, to obtain additional practical tips on restoring trust in work-based relationships.